Hey folks, Crimson Blaze here, and welcome to Capitol Reef National Park. Now let's go backpacking. But first, I have to head to the Capitol Reef Visitor Center to pick up my permit for my backpacking trip. Now, Capitol Reef does it a little differently in that you don't have to have an advanced lottery or permit that you have to get months in advance. Instead, what you need to do is go to the Visitor Center and register with them where you want to go backpacking, and then they'll give you a permit for that area. So that is what I'm doing, and I should be there in a few minutes. All right, I got my permit. Now let's head to the trailhead. So the trail starts off at an overlook, and then you hike down around 1.2 miles until you get down to the bottom. It's interesting that trailhead sign said carry water, because I'm carrying about 7 liters of water. And I don't think I would have done that, but when I checked the Capitol Reef website, it said that there's an algae bloom in the water and that it is unsafe to drink at this moment. So I'm bringing all 7 liters that I'm going to need for this 3-day backpacking trip, and it's a bit heavy, but man, I can't wait to get down there and start hiking towards the Narrows. I believe that is the trail below that I'm hiking down to, and it leads to the Halls Creek. I believe it's a wash right now, and then you're going to head about 8 or 9 miles south, and that'll lead you to the Narrows. I've hiked about 4 miles to this point, so I thought this was a good time just to sit down, take a little break, get the pack off my shoulder with all that water, and just have a little snack. And I thought this would also be a good time just to kind of explain the trip that I'm doing this weekend. So I'm doing a 3-day, 2-night backpacking trip in Capitol Reef National Park, and I'm doing the Halls Creek Narrows, and it's kind of like a lollipop where you start off at the overlook, and then you hike down about a little over a mile, and then probably another 7.5 miles until you actually get to where the loop is that goes through the Narrows. And my plan is to camp there tonight and set up base camp, and then tomorrow what I'll do is I just have a day pack that I'll show you, and I'm just going to hike through the Narrows, and then it loops back around to a trail called the Hall Divide, and then that Hall Divide will take me right back to base camp for the end of day 2, and I think that'll be around 8 miles. I think going through the Narrows itself is a little over 4, then you hike back that Hall Divide. And then day 3, I'll just hike out another 8 miles. So The total trip is around 24 miles. And you know, I love this park at this time of year. I love Utah during this early spring, you know, March, April time of year, because the weather is just great. You know, last year I did the extravaganza loop in Capitol Reef, and that was just an absolute fantastic trip. So I think that was in April, maybe May. But now I'm in March and the weather is still great. Although I did have to wait a couple weekends for some bad weather. There was some snow, some really cold weather, and had to wait for that to pass through. So I think March can be hit or miss. But this weekend opened up where I think it's going to be 60 to 65 degrees as the high. I think my low maybe 38, I think I saw one night, which is, you know, that's not bad at all. But, you know, today is, it's been beautiful. And yeah, I'm just glad to be back out on the trail and leave all those, you know, freezing temps behind in Colorado and just enjoy my break here. And, you know, we will see you on the trail in a little bit. I'm about 7.5 miles into the trail now, and I'm going to start looking for a campsite. And as you may have noticed, there are a lot of trees. I shouldn't say a lot of trees, but there are trees down here. And I saw that in Google Maps. So I did bring my hammock. Like I said, this is the year of the Dutch Banya Bridge hammock, so I brought it along, but I also brought along my Z-Packs duplex as well, just in case. It's only 17 ounces, I think, so it's not adding that much weight to my pack, but I'm hopeful. So I'm just gonna look for a campsite and see if I can find myself a good set of trees. All right, see you at camp. Well, I finally found a good campsite around 8.2 miles into the trail, and this should set me up pretty good for tackling the Narrows tomorrow morning, which is less than a mile away. Now it's time to set up my hammock. Hammock set up. Looks pretty good. Oh, forgot my tarp. There's the tarp. Now it's time to relax. As the sun is beginning to set behind the rock walls, I think I'm going to call it a day. I have my camp clothes on. I'm all ready for bed because I am one whipped pup. I woke up at 3 a.m. this morning. I think I drove around 11 hours to get here and then hiked another 8.5 miles and got into camp around 6 p.m. So I am a bit tired. So I'm not going to show you around camp tonight. I'm going to do that tomorrow. Right now, I'm just going to fix my dinner, maybe watch a bit of a movie, and then just go straight to bed. But it's been a beautiful day. Just loved walking down the Grand Gulch and having the water pocket on one side and the mesa on the other. It was just stunning. It really was. But tomorrow is when we tackle the Narrows, and I'm really looking forward to that. So, all right, folks, I will see you in the morning. Morning, folks. It is day 2, and I am still hanging out in my hammock this morning. I'm in no real rush to really get up and get going, as today I'm tackling the Narrows, and so I'm going to be walking through, I'm assuming to be really cold water. So I'm going to do that later this afternoon, maybe around lunchtime. The temperature is supposed to be around 70 degrees, so I think it's going to be a beautiful day for that. But I had a great night's sleep in my Banya Bridge hammock. Slept really warm.
I think the temperature's only got to around 50 degrees. So I checked my Govee Bluetooth thermometer that I use that checks my temperature, throughout the day. And it looks like it got to around 50 degrees throughout the night. And the coldest that it's got is around right now, which is 44, 45 degrees. So I'm not in any real hurry to get up and get going. But soon I'm going to crawl the hammock and, get some breakfast and show you around camp a little bit.
I finally crawled out of my hammock. It's around 8:30 and figured I'd have a little breakfast. And the thing that I'm doing for breakfast on this trip is I'm eating Pop-Tarts, which I love. They are great. But normally I would cook a meal, but because of the water that I had to carry in, I was trying to minimize the amount of water that I needed to take. So I'm not cooking anything for breakfast. I won't cook anything for lunch. Most of the water that I'll be using is for my hydration. So I've got my breakfast essentials here that I'm going to have with my Pop-Tarts. And I also have liquid IV that I'll drink during the day for my electrolytes. But I brought, I guess, 4 of these. These are 1 liter smart water bottles. I like these because they're nice and lean, I guess. They can fit into my backpack easily. And I've brought 4 of these along with my 3 liter Hydro Pack. And that should get me through till tomorrow morning. Because tomorrow I'll just have breakfast and I'll need some liquid IV for my hike on the way out since it's about 8 miles. But that's what I'm doing for water. But just right now, going to sit here and enjoy the sun rising over the rock wall and enjoying a breakfast of champions, my Pop-Tarts. Now it's time to do a little bit of exploring. Let's see if I can make my way up this rock. See if I can get me a view. Up here we have the best views yet. Full 360. You can see the water. There's some water in Halls Creek. So this looks like a great spot for dinner tonight. So I'm going to keep that in mind. My camp is only right down there. So pretty easy hike up here with some spectacular views. I don't know if you can see, but there's a couple that's camping right down there. And I met them yesterday as I was hiking to my camp because I was starting to look for a campsite. And there were some good trees, as you can see, that's over there beside them. And he told me that the Narrows at one point got to where he had to swim. Like he couldn't touch anymore. And then he just turned around. So he went about halfway through. So I'm expecting that might be the case today. So I may not make it all the way through. But that's part of the adventure, right? Coming out here and never knowing what you might get into. But all the videos that I saw and researching this trip, it was coming up to their waist, sometimes their, stomach, and it could get a little deep. I never saw anybody talk about how they were swimming through it and had to turn around. So I thought this would be a good time, but maybe there's just been more rain in the past month or so where there's more water now. But anyway, I'm going to go start now packing up and getting ready for the hike, and we're going to head out to the Narrows. All right, I'm all packed up and ready to go. A couple new things that I'm also taking on this trip that I normally don't take. One is neoprene socks. So I'm going to carry these with me when I hit the Narrows, as the water here can be pretty cold. So I'm hoping this will help keep my feet a little bit insulated. But if I'm going for a swim, then these may not help out that much of keeping me warm. But I brought some neoprene socks, so I have that. Also, what I normally don't take on my trips is a day pack. I'll typically bring a day pack when I'm going to set up base camp for one day and then just do some hikes like I'm doing today. Because I don't want to have to break down and carry all my other stuff. I'm going to come back here tonight. So I've got a day pack, and because I could be swimming, the only thing I have in here is food. And that's in a waterproof bag, so that should be safe, because I don't want to really leave any scented stuff here at my camp when I leave. So I'm probably have lunch and a snack on the way out there. So I put everything in a waterproof bag, so that should be okay. And I used to have a Sea to Summit day pack, and that was fine. It was really lightweight. But the one thing I really wanted that I like in this one is a little side pocket, because this is my electrolytes drink that I'm going to be ready to go. And this is by 4 Monster backpack. And it only weighs a few ounces, and this will be the first time I'm trying it out. So, all right, let's go hit the trail and go check out these narrows. Well, I've hiked about 4 miles up to this point, and I believe the narrows part is just a little over 4 miles. And I haven't encountered any water up to not even my chest at this point. So I'm not sure if I just haven't hit that section yet, or my mileage is wrong because I'm, in these little narrows, or what. But it's a little after 12 o'clock. Thought I would just stop, take a break, and have some lunch, and then continue on. Now that is some nice desert varnish. I think I have found the deep section.
to swim with 2 hands. I think I'm on.
Oh, that was kind of embarrassing. Well, I'm glad to be in the sunshine and drying off a little bit. Oh, that water kind of took my breath away. Trying to swim, doggy paddle, that was a bit amusing. These are the ones that are now making me nervous. Are these really tight, narrow little pathways. This is where the water can tend to get a bit deep. Well, I made it through that section. I'll put the camera away just in case I had to swim. But luckily it only came up to just above my waist. And I'm hoping those are the couple spots that guy was talking about. Man, this water is cold. But that sun feels good. Let's keep on going. I think I may have come to the end of it. So after that last little stretch, have that little nose there, and now it's really just opened up, right? There's no longer these big rock walls. That looks like Hall's Mesa right there. And now I'm just kind of bushwhacking. So I'm assuming that Hall Divide trail is gonna hang off to the left. Well, that was pretty awesome. I'm just now heading up out of Hall's Creek and making my way up to the Hall Divide trail, which is now going to loop back to my campsite. And yeah, we're going to be heading back to camp. Well, I'm back at camp and now resting and hanging out in my hammock. It's around 3:30 and I'm just ready to relax a little bit. And again, this is one of the reasons I love having a hammock, is being able to come back to camp and just lay down and get your feet off the ground and just relax. So that's what I'm gonna do. Probably take a little nap, and then I will see you around dinner time. And 15 minutes later, dinner is served. Tonight we have on the menu breakfast. One of my favorite meals by Mountain House is the biscuits and gravy. And typically with most of these meals, I like to put in less water. I think it's too watery sometimes. But for even the biscuits and gravy, I put even a little bit less. Like I put 8 ounces of water in for a Mountain House meal. I feel like it gives the biscuits a little more crunch in terms of the meal. But it's been a good day. It's been a good day going through the Narrows. I was a little bit nervous that I wasn't going to be able to finish it. And then once I swam past that first part, then I was nervous. I've got to get through now. I do not want to go back and swim that again. And I was just hoping, really hoping that there were no more swim options as part of the Narrows. And there wasn't. There was one more section where I think it came up around my stomach. But other than that, I didn't have any other issues trying to get through the Narrows. But it was a spectacular hike. But it's pretty cool, with the high rock walls, with all the desert varnish, the staining. It was just absolutely beautiful. But I'm gonna sit up here, finish my meal, hopefully get a good sunset, and then we're gonna see you in the morning. Morning, folks. It is day 3 and I am back on the trail. Got off to a later start than I wanted to this morning. I was going to get up at 6 and try to head out by 6:30, 7 o'clock. But you know, that alarm went off and it was still dark and the wind was blowing. So I slept in a little bit to about a little after 7. So I didn't get out of camp until around 8 a.m. But I'm on the trail now. I have about 8 miles to get to my truck, and should be a beautiful day. Well, I've hiked about 7 miles now, and really the only thing I have left is the climb. So it's about a little over a mile, and there's switchbacks that go up there, and then my truck is over there. But it's hard looking at that and thinking that there is a trail. But I know that there is because I came down it. So let's start hiking up. Right, we have made it to the top. Whew. Feels good to get to the top. Well, that's gonna do it for this video. It's been another great backpacking trip in Capitol Reef National Park. But right now, I'm gonna get into my truck, put on a fresh set of clothes, and head to Hanksville for a good burger. But until then, keep on blazing.